Longhorns will kick it away. McGee with Michael Adams back deep. Jason Cherry and over the shoulder. Too deep in the end zone. Adams stays there. Let's head downstairs. Jim Knox.
Okay.
They made was 3 misses in the kicking game. Otherwise, it's 42-3. This is the 4th year for Ricky Bussell. We appreciated his honesty in preparing for this game and talking to him earlier this week and his time yesterday. It's been a tough week for this group. And we documented that at the top of the telecast. So many of the members of this team from the New Orleans area, and if they weren't, and relatives and friends from New Orleans. Not a bad stick by Michael Griffin out of the secondary. We felt it all the way up here on the running back, Darrell Fenroy.
Well, Coach Chizik, his Auburn defense, and get an injured player from that hit. His Auburn defense led the country in points allowed, and he wants this Texas unit to give up no more than 13 points a game. And they're tracking right now to give up 6. And they may not give up any more points the way they came out of the locker room and came with that first hit. And you hate to see this. You see too much of this. It is the collisions can be violent because of the speed we talk about. These guys are big, strong guys that can really run.
And he had a head start out of the secondary to begin with. There's a guy who, former high school running back from right here in Austin.
It's amazing how quiet it gets when these kind of things take place.
That was just a sudden jolt.
Yep. It's a game of controlled violence. There's no question about it, and the hits can get pretty violent down there. Watch coming out of the secondary. Look at this. Look at the speed, the closing speed. Whoa. Man, that's
helmet
textbook.
to helmet too, as the cage is crashed.
That's textbook, though, to get your helmet, your face up, and run through the running back. And running back obviously worse for the wear. Hopefully, nothing serious, just stunned.
And now Fenroy is back into the game in the backfield, along with Dwight Linden. Shovel pitch. Linden couldn't get away. Aaron Harris got him around the ankle.
Pretty athletic play by Aaron Harris. Speed gives you recoverability if you're a defensive football player. Sometimes you may find yourself with a misread, false steps, being out of position, but when you've got speed, you can recover and still make a good play. And that's what Texas had. They have speed everywhere. It's incredible.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 8. Ball to the 22. Louisiana Lafayette. First series of the second half. Bad in trouble.
He
didn't, and the hit was timed perfectly by Cedric Griffin on the wide receiver on that side. So Griffin jars the ball loose from Darrell Fenroy.
Boy, they're coming out of that locker room hitting people. Man, just smacking people. I thought Babb was tightroping that line of scrimmage a little bit. Secondary's laying the leather to people here in the second half. Watch the hit, the arrival of the ball and the hit simultaneous. Man,
and he was a wide receiver on that side.
Jackknife you.
So under the punt for Framel. Man, there's going right. It's a booth review, as we mentioned, in the Big 12 this year. It's not a decision that is John Bible, the referee of the game. It comes from upstairs.
The quarterback was across the line of scrimmage when he threw the ball.
That's
an illegal forward pass. It's a 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It's loss of down. It'll be 4th down.
And Dan, you mentioned it live. We thought it was close. We didn't know if he released it before he stepped across.
Yeah, my first reaction, I mean, when he did it, I thought he was. I mean, I thought he was beyond the line of scrimmage. I knew he was flirting with it, but it looked to me that he had stepped beyond the line of scrimmage.
The line of scrimmage was the 18. So it's going to be a punt either way.
It's the 22.
Back sort of the 22. Have to pick up a 4. Longhorns still have their defensive back. Aaron Ross waiting for the punt. Flag down on the play. It looks like they got the punter. And Ross is out of bounds.
Now,
just across the midfield stripe.
Running into or roughing? Looks like running into.
That'll be 5.
Or did he signal roughing?
I couldn't see if it was a personal foul, and it must be a personal foul because Mack was. Otherwise, I don't think he would
first down. I thought
respond like that.
Unless he was just pointing the infraction was on Texas, but looked like he signaled first down.
Running into the kicker, number 3 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Now we've got it straight and a stutter step start to the second half.
Mack saw the same thing when the referee Bible signaled against Texas. He thought it was a first down.
All starts next Sunday, Dave. Longhorns get it for the first time in the second half. They've got it at their own 49-yard line. And Vince Young is in there at quarterback. Good running by Selvin Young.
It's over.
Between the tackles, gain of about 8, maybe almost 9.
David Thomas still in the game. There are some
we wondered when they start to take some people. Well, they had backups in the trenches, both offensively and defensively, into the second quarter.
But they get their starting tackles back out in the field right now.
Well, maybe because Ohio State is here next week, and he wants to find enough snaps, rhythm offensively.
Yep, he's got Scott, he's got Blaylock in there, the 2 studs at tackles. Whoa.
Huge hole. Jamal Charles makes the most of it to the 35-yard line. Michael Adams submarines him there. It's a long way away, and you've got so many games, but every time we start a season with either Texas or Oklahoma, the Red River Battle comes up. And we've got time to, it's been a long time, let's face it, since Texas has been able to win the game.
And what they did with some of the guys that he took out of the game, let them cool down, adjustments, warm back up, play a little bit in the second half, because you're going to have to do that all year long. He'll substitute probably pretty quickly for a lot of these guys.
Charles again making it across the 30, down to the 25, already down as he squirted out. Back to the Red River Battle, though, because it is the holy grail now for the Texas Longhorns. Let's face it, they were shut out last year at the Cotton Bowl 12-0. 2003, an embarrassment, 65-13.
Yep.
2002, 35-24. And you remember Roy Williams, the safety, flying into the face, deflecting Sims' pass. Teddy Lehman with the decisive touchdown in the game in 2001. So if ever they wanted to turn things around in a big way, it would be decisive on that Saturday in October.
I think Mack could take a 1-point win right now after the way it's gone there here recently. I mean, a win is what you need.
On first down for the 25. Intercepted by Adams. He was going for Brian Carter, and he jumped the route perfectly, cutting in front of the receiver after the ball was in the air. And Michael Adams with the pick up to the 12-yard line.
Michael Adams got a big C on his chest for competitor.
You're right about that.
Michael Adams broke on the ball better than receiver Brian Carter did. Michael Adams had route recognition, and he broke on the football like he was the primary receiver. Carter couldn't reverse roles. Carter was trying to play defensive back because Adams turned himself into receiver. And as a result of that, Vince Young suffers his interception.
It's interesting, back to the Red River Battle. That'll be coming up in October for Texas and Oklahoma. I remember Barry Switzer saying last year, he says, Bob has not experienced anything like what the rest of us have gone through. And he was referring to losses in bunches to your biggest opponent every year. And Barry's been through it, Barry Switzer. All the coaches here have been through it. At Texas and Oklahoma. They can all reflect on it. And he was actually, and it's rare when a former Oklahoma coach will sympathize with a Texas coach, but that was the case.
Right, and Darrell Royal suffered some consecutive losses, and Barry Switzer did, and Mac Brown has, and Will Bob Stoops. I mean, if you coach long enough, you're going to have to face adversity. And Bob Stoops has been very fortunate. He's got the best winning percentage of active coaches now, over the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
On second down, Bass showing the pitch and then taking a shot shy of the 20. It'll be third and a couple. That is the game, as big as the Rose Bowl win was, and it was one of the classic football games we've seen in decades, 38-37 over Michigan. That is the one game every year for Texas that stands out more than any other. And that's above their bowl games.
And to me, in this era of BCS, for Ohio State and Texas to play each other in week 2 is unbelievable.
You're right about that.
It is unbelievable. And
you don't see those matchups anymore.
No way.
Because of the gamble, the risk factor.
Sure. I mean, you have to hope that the team that doesn't win that might be able to get back in it, but it's a long haul.
Can they get the first down? No. Down the running back completely, and it was Booker Jenkins that time. stuff by Ocam and Crowder are the two starters in there.
I think, though, we are seeing parity in college football, and it's amazing to me that USC, in an era of parity in college football, has won back-to-back national championships and is going for the first time ever 3 in a row. With the reduction in scholarships to 85, for them to be doing what they're doing is incredible. I mean, you know, you talk dynasty. You can't. In the old days, you could have 120 guys and hide a bunch. You can't do that anymore. And for them to be where they are is just a heck of a run.
It is an amazing feat that they have accomplished as Aaron Ross waits for the low line drive, returnable type from the 38, making a miss. There goes Ross. Will the punter be able to get him?
Oh,
barely. As he's down at the 10. Vrabel, the junior from Owasso, Oklahoma, saved the touchdown.
Well, that's a heck of a play by Vrabel, a desperation play. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a little bit of a razz going on in the film room for Aaron Ross.
Return.
He's going to get some good-natured ribbing that the punter brought him down in the open field, Aaron Ross. He's getting some ribbing on the sideline right now. Coach Aquina.
They show the blitz. It goes the other way, and Charles is inside the 5, down to the 4.
You know, this is the stage, Joel, where in Louisiana Lafayette, undermanned, hang in there. I mean, you know, it's just, you start getting pounded by this big Texas offensive line. You wear down. I mean, they've been on the field a lot of snaps.
As Ricky Bussell said to us, it's not whether we win or lose this game and talking about his team. He said it's how we perform in the big picture for down-the-road purposes. Everything for them is the Sun Belt Conference and how they do in the conference schedule. Charles slowed down inside the 5, down to the 2. So he's got the proper perspective. And he also, from quarter to quarter in this game, wants to see growth from his team in the opener.
Right. You want to see how the team responds to adversity. You want to see a lot of things that take place in an opener against an opponent of this caliber. You want to see where your program is the 4th year with you as the head coach. He's getting some answers. Some he probably doesn't like as much as others.
Your boy Henry's in. Henry Melton.
There he is, the big fella.
6'3", 270, and they line him up at tailback. How hungry are you? Well, Vince Young has the man in the flat. It's dropped. Do you believe it? Ahmad Hall had a walk-in touchdown for the former walk-on. And he was celebrating before he had it.
Yeah, he saw a golden goalpost, and they evaporated. Little naked bootleg, full back there, wide open. Boy, you know what? I thought he even looked it in, but just you let it come into his body. Get your hands out, catch it with your hands away from your body. It's the easiest thing to do to make sure that you catch the pig. Once you get it into your body, you know, it's going to start, you're sweating, your jersey's wet. You can get it off your shoulder pads, get your hands out in front, and squeeze it.
Little naked action for Young. Tight formation. No, run the option. He'll keep it, and he's in. Touchdown, Vince Young.
Oh, is he hurt? I don't want to see him hurt. Slow to get up. Slow to get up. That might be the last play for Vince Young.
So a short drive of 10 yards. The nice return by Aaron Ross. .8:21 left in the 3rd quarter. And you're right. He shook his head almost like he took a knock to the noggin.
That was his 26th rushing touchdown of his career. He's going to have a lot more.
McGee. A hook, but it got inside the upright. 46-3. The Longhorns will come right back to Austin. So on 4th and goal, Young calls his own number. All Texas in their home opener. And a hot one, real hot one on 6th Street. 6th Street, 5th Street, any kind of music you want, it is here. Blues, jazz, bluegrass, country, heavy metal, like you. I know you're a Metallica guy.
Oh, absolutely. Heavy metal, bro.
Anything with the word heavy.
Yeah, right.
You're into it. Adams back with Jason Cherry again. Heavy humidity tonight. We know that. And I got a feeling you're right. That may be the end of Vince Young tonight. Cherry is going to stay in the end zone upon the urging of Michael Adams. And they'll have it at their own 20-yard line. Our Best Buy leaders in touchdowns by a quarterback. Well, Vince Young's there.
Yeah.
And the same time, our producer Bob Steinfeld was here and witnessed Marty Akins from 72 to 75. And Steiny had a part in some of those scores, I'm told.
I think he did. I think he gave, Steiny was one of those guys that gave him a look during the week of practice. And would be one of those, safeties, corners trying to wrap him up. Steinfeld working the practice field.
From the gun. Babb, timed well and almost picked by Hupp on an underthrown ball. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. First down line, all brought to you by Overstock.com. Visit Overstock.com today and start saving. It is all about the O at Overstock.com. We've seen Selvin Young come back, a gritty performance, putting the ball on the ground early and coming back to score right away. Nothing doing up the middle on that carry. So now it's going to be 3rd and still almost 10. Robinson plugging in that gap.
In Texas defensively, Joel, they have not done a whole lot of creative things. They haven't had to. I mean, they played deep base defense, used their hands well, gotten off for blocks, pursued the football. Haven't had to do a lot of zone blitz, much blitzing at all. They've just lined up and said, okay, here I am. See if you can block me. And Louisiana Lafayette hasn't been able to do that a high percentage.
So now trips on the bottom of the wide side of the field. Man on the swing pass. Derek Smith is going to be short of the first down. He got it out to the 28, shy by 2 as we head back and check with.
Man, he can't get through the airport security. That's unbelievable. He shattered that.
Aaron Ross. Tough grab and trying to take off again. Picking up some blockers. And running to the punter again. Bramwell goes, I didn't sign up for this combat duty.
And I'll tell you, Mac Brown at the half with Knox, he said, I'd like to see a punt return. We haven't had one of those yet. Well, he's had 2 big ones in this second half by Ross.
It's at the 34. 1st and 10. Jamal Charles with Young on the bench, getting most of the duty at tailback, and he gets 4 yards. Well, the quarterback is gone. Vince Young done for the night. Matt Nordgren out of Bishop Lynch High School in Dallas. The senior at 6'5", 235 has taken over. Vince Young's numbers real impressive. 13 of 17 for 3 touchdowns and 173 yards. He also carried the ball, had a score. 7 carries, 49 yards.
Did have 1 interception. But I think he just hit his head a little bit. He seems to be fine. Mac Brown said that's enough.
Nordgren. And can he get the first down? No. He'll be short. Anyone contact. Otherwise, you can get it easily. Running out on the near side.
Well, Nordgren out of the shotgun doing the same things that Vince Young does. He's keying the backside defensive end, 57. Closes down inside, does not keep his contained responsibilities, and Joe Bradley suffered the consequences of that. Nordgren held the football and came right back where Bradley should be.
They need a yard, and he's smart going out of bounds. They need him to stay healthy in case Young does go down for any reason. They don't have any depth behind Young, except Nordgren. The others are true freshmen, and they don't want to waste a redshirt here. They don't want to use it up. Bouncing outside, look out. Touchdown. Your man Henry Melton, his first career score.
There's a flag on the play. Is it coming back?
And was it the tight end on that side?
Melton, though, he does have quick feet, very nimble. He does remind you a little bit of Jerome Bettis, but Melton's first touchdown in his college career is going to have to come at another time, as a holding penalty negates that effort. But showed a nice little hop over a fallen Louisiana Lafayette defender, hurdled him, took it to the house.
Holding 87 on the offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Tight end Neil Tweedy So it comes back. They needed a yard. Now they need 11.
Here's the hold right. Oh, that's not it. Right here. Down the football field, the takedown. Kind of an unfortunate takedown because Melton was gone. And you know,
well, actually, it was the point of the infraction, so it's going to be a first down because the flag was downfield.
Right.
He already had the first down. It was after he got 12, 13 yards on it.
Exactly. And to nullify a touchdown by Melton, it's unfortunate because he didn't really have to make the block. He didn't know that.
Charles. Kingsby on his back. Now, how much do you want to show Ohio State and possibly show them things that you don't have any plans on using next week? And I bring it up because of what you mentioned just before we broke away, talking about the base defense. And they didn't have to do much defensively. But on the other side, offensively, do you want to put out some decoys? Give them some ideas that you don't have any idea that you're going to use.
Or you go to the next step, RT with a couple of end arounds, a double reverse,
right.
Pass at the end of it. Can he throw the football? Ohio State has to defend the double reverse, just the plain reverse, a reverse pass. You get all that going for coordinators to sit through.
It'll be Charles again with a seal over to the left side. Man, he's shy of the first down by about a yard. Brought down by Brenton Burkhalter out of Baton Rouge.
A.J. Hawk and that linebacker core up there, Joel, at Ohio State, they feel like their speed and quickness is going to be able to negate the big, powerful offensive line of Texas. I'm sure Texas feels like they're going to be able to mash in between the tackles. It's going to be interesting. There are so many storylines, so many big matchups in this football game in Columbus next week, and it's a tough place to play up in Columbus.
So they need a yard, and Melton's got it. Man, he's not quitting on the play. Look out, he's in. Touchdown, Texas. He got his touchdown after all.
He said, I'm going to do it on my own this time. I don't need any blocking. I'm just going to show unbelievable contact balance and run through people. How do you get your arms around 270 pounds? I guess you don't. Man, it's a big fella. Once again, Louisiana Lafayette. And gets hammered off the line of scrimmage a little bit, but not a whole lot of blocking at the next level. And Henry Melton says, I'm taking the linebackers on by myself and spinning off of them for big yards.
All right, let's watch the form of David Pino, a senior from Wichita Falls, Texas. On a career 13 of 14 on extra point tries, and he's got it. Very uneventful. And try to bring down Melton, especially when he gets those Pistons journey. Too tough. 53 to not exactly been a stressful night for Bevo.
No,
and a 53-3 lead for the Longhorns.
The eyes of Texas were upon you, and that was Bevo's eyes. He's liking what he's seeing.
Yeah, Longhorn fans have to feel like this is their year. They do have balance on both sides of the ball. That's Jason Cherry just shy of the 20-yard line on the return. So 3 and out, 3 straight series in the second half. The 4th time Lafayette gets the ball. 480 total yards on 54 snaps for the Longhorns.
Better than 4-to-1 ratio advantage over Louisiana Lafayette. Texas, when they get in the scoring zone, they've done that. They have scored. Vince Young has done his thing. He can throw it and he can run it. You made an interesting point, Joel, about sometimes you have to throw the ball to win games, sometimes you have to run the ball to win games to try to be balanced.
Nissan game summary breaking down the numbers. All one-sided. Jump ball. And did Smith come up with it? Flag anyway. It'll be on the reserve defensive back Eric Jackson, the sophomore. Cedar Hill, Texas.
Coach Chizik wants his defense to be athletically versatile enough to play zone.
Pass interference, 13 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Play zone, to play man defense, to do some zone blitz stuff. To do all of it. You know, sometimes you're going to have to scheme that way. Sometimes you're going to have to play man. And man wasn't played well enough right there. You got to find the football. You can't just play the man. You have to find the ball and play the ball.
First down of the second half by way of penalty for Louisiana Lafayette. Their 5th the game compared to 27 And that young man his opportunity is coming in a blowout. He's third on the depth chart at the left corner spot. And Texas wants to find out about a lot of people in this home opener. Bent breaking tackles. And Fenroy, rather, with good yardage to the outside. He's shy of the first down by a couple. Jim Knox, what's going on downstairs?
I tell you what, after that touchdown by Melton, he comes to the sideline. Bruce Chambers, the running back coach, looks at Mac Brown after that touchdown run and just shook his head. Yeah, we got us a good one. Heck of a freshman running back. That load, a Jerome Bettis protege, no doubt about it.
I think the key is what you talked about. Mac Brown mentioned to us earlier in the week that he's got real light feet.
Yep.
He picks him up. He moves him well. Ballroom dancing, anyone? The pitch and a first down for the Ragin Cajuns. And once again is Terrell Fenroy. Brought down by Brandon Foster, second teamer at the right cornerback spot.
And this is where, Louisiana Lafayette, their character is going to get tested a little bit. I mean, you're down at half a hundy right now. And are you going to quit, or are you going to go out and take some physical snaps? Coach Bussell wants to see which way his team's going to go. It's a big evaluation time for him right now.
Yeah, they get the back-to-back first downs. Now can they capitalize? They've yet to find the end zone of the game. And a little too long on the slant pass. Trying to get it to Kevin Robbins. Got our Jack Links trivia. Who holds the Louisiana Lafayette record for the longest field goal? It's a good one. It's our Jack's Links trivia. And if you think about the Cowboys.
Yeah. His initials are
Don't start. They've had some good players there.
Yes, they have. They have had some players.
Been a tough week for everybody in Louisiana and Mississippi, and it hasn't been easy for these guys. There's so many growing up, family and friends in the New Orleans area and all over the states of Louisiana and Mississippi. And we remind you what we talked about earlier. If you can, we all have seen the devastating effects along the Gulf Coast. If you can help out. You can go to the Salvation Army's website, www.salvationarmyusa.org, or you can call right now, toll-free 800-SAL-ARMY. You can also go to the Red Cross website, www.redcross.org, or you can call 800-HELP-NOW. Delays, take your time, be patient, contact the organization if you can. Good adjustment. Nice run. Caleb Rubin down for a first down to the 41 of the Longhorns. Brought down by Melton.
All running backs, when they get to this level, can make the first guy miss. You can't make the first guy miss. You shouldn't be playing college football Division I level. The key is, can you start making the second and third guy miss? And Vince Young and great running backs of that caliber make the first guy miss, then they get their eyes to the second and third guy immediately. And that's what separates the good ones from the great ones.
Read the block over to the left side pretty well. It's wide of the intended target. Is there a flag? Yes, there is. He was trying to get it to Corey Frederick.
Well, you had one big old offensive lineman lose his cool right there, and that's
throw punch.
Justin Ernest. Now he ripped the helmet off.
Is that all?
Yeah, ripped the helmet off Jansen. He's got some nice hair too. Man, they grow some locks down there.
You got it.
Man. But Justin Ernest said, I'm taking that throwback helmet off your head.
Personal foul on the offense, number 75, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty, down counts, second down.
Well, once again, he got his money's worth. You rip the helmet off and throw it away. And Coach Bussell saying, you know what I don't like about that? You're losing your composure. That's a bad sign to me. In the heat of battle, you absolutely melt down. Can't have it.
Yeah, it's a hot night, but don't get hot under the helmet trailing by 50.
Yep.
You just want to make some noise now in the end zone. And they had a nice little drive working. Started back deep in their own territory.
That's a selfish play.
19.
You know, if to gratify yourself, you hurt your team.
Plenty of time for Babb. And on the crossing pattern, complete. Grabbed by Frederick. And a flag at the end of the play. There was contact, and I think another personal foul.
Everybody's getting chippy now.
Yeah, the
tempers are flaring.
Christopher Brown, a true freshman for Texas, ended up on his wallet right in front of the referee.
Personal foul 56 on the offense. Unnecessary roughness. Down counts, third down.
That was the left tackle that time. Will Chance, the starter. Watch the end of the play.
Will Chance fighting a little bit of a viral infection, and the ball, the play was executed well, but Will Chance just, he gets pulled out of the game by Coach Bustle, saying the same thing. If you can read lips.
We saw what he said.
It was an animal excrement.
It was not monosyllabic.
Exactly.
So now it is going to be third down, almost 20. Babb in trouble. Underneath is running back Dwight Linden is going to be shy of where he needed to go. So at the 40 they stall. I don't think they have a choice on 3rd and 8. While they make a decision, we go down to Jim Knox. Knoxy?
All right, thank you.
No, we can't relate, and it's hard to believe what has transpired.
Offense, delay of game, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Fortunately, more aid and support has come over the last 24 hours finally. And we talked about at the very top of the telecast, for these kids to try to focus when somebody were trying to reach family and friends and couldn't get a hold of them. The unknown.
How about the gentleman on the first day that had to make a decision whether to let his wife go? He's got his wife in one arm and his kids in the other, and the wife says, let me go, save the kids, I love you. Are you kidding me?
Right.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, it's at the 18 after the punt. So Texas gets it back. Our Jack Links trivia, who holds the Ragin Cajuns record. Longest field goal, former Dallas Cowboy.
Raphael Septien.
1974. 57-yarder. They've had some players. Back at the 18. And make it the 23. Texas has it. 1st and 10. 38 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. A game, well, I guess we can call it instead of the never-ending story, of the never-ending contest.
Oh, big Melton in the hit.
And Melton taking people along the way. Ball headed out of bounds. They put it on the ground a couple of times tonight. That time it scored it out of bounds at the 34. Selvin Young lost one on a possession inside the 20 of Louisiana Lafayette when they were driving in the 1st quarter.
And it was one of the first things Mac Brown said to us when we said, Coach, you got any concerns going into the season here? And he said, you know, one of my main concerns, my young running backs haven't been exposed to the live hitting in college football. I'm curious about their ability to secure the football. And he's going to have something to talk about. You know, even though this game is obviously lopsided in his favor, there are going to be coaching points. Ball security, executing the kicking game. There are things that they need to fine-tune.
It'll be a 2nd down. Jamal Charles altering the direction big time. He turns it on. Can they get him? And they do bump him out of bounds. Right around the 20-yard line. Johnny Felder's downfield saved the touchdown. Well, we talked about a slash and dash kind of guy with great speed. And that's what Jamal Charles possesses, as Selvin Young is going to be the between tackles low pad guy.
He's supposed to start to the left, but look at the vision. It's supposed to be off tackle left. His vision says, I can cut back, there's nobody home. And with that vision, he's got tremendous speed and athletic ability. But he saw it right away. He saw the backside collapse, and he just cut it back, and he was Gandhi.
True freshman, Port Arthur, Texas, 6'1", 190, and in his debut as a Longhorn, he's got 135 yards on 14 carries.
You can see why a lot of people are excited about him.
Nordgren got ahead of the sideline. I guarantee you they reminded you got to get out of this one healthy, buddy. The way he's going to the boundary. So that's the way the 3rd quarter ends. Texas with the ball in Louisiana Lafayette territory, and for the Longhorns, home opener leading by 50. You're watching College Football Saturday presented by Kia Sero. on FSN. Jim Knox and all Longhorns all night long, 53-3. They took over in the second quarter, and they've worn down the Ragin Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, the Sun Belt Conference. Well, coming into the season, the wide receiver group, cause for concern. Lose a bunch of guys like Tony Jeffries, 33 grabs last year, and gosh, a couple of years ago, Sloan Thomas, Roy Williams, B.J. Johnson.
Right.
An incredible group of receivers. As your man Melton takes a shot low, still falls forward. He's got the first down, about the 22. Coming into the year, though, when you look at the wide receivers for Texas, Carter, Sweet, Taylor, Jones, Shipley, we've yet to see tonight. Only one had caught a touchdown. None last year, and only one in a Longhorn game. And that's Brian Carter, and you've got to go all the way back to 2001 for that grab.
And I think school's still out, Joel. I think Thomas obviously is a known commodity. Thomas you can count on.
Or even Taylor.
Against Ohio State, I'm talking about
right, tight end.
Right. But at the wide receiver position, I don't know. Big test next week.
Melton bouncing off of people. Wow. Man, forget about it. Touchdown. Henry Melton. It's just not fair.
He's a human bowling ball. And he's knocking down a lot of Lafayette pins. Man. You know, you talk about finishing plays, finishing blocks. Melton finishes runs, doesn't he?
Finishes you off.
Jeez. You got to tackle. If you hit him above his knees, you're crazy. You got to take that man low. You hit him above his waist, you're getting rejected.
Pino in for the point after.
It's kind of Earl Campbell-esque, wasn't it?
Leaves him in his wake. It's 60 on the board, and we still have 14 plus minutes left in this puppy.
You know, they've had big backs like Roosevelt Leaks, people like that. Look at Melton. You can't try to just strip the ball. You got to nail him. Hit him low. Touchdown, Melton.
Snaps. So you're not far off 10 yards a pop. 10 yards per snap in the game, which is pretty remarkable. Up man, fullback's going to bring it back. He lowers his shoulder. So the Ragin Cajuns, Booker Jenkins, the fullback, brings it back for good yardage. And we've been talking about the throwback uniforms they're wearing, reminding us all and honoring the 1963 national champions, led by Captain Tommy Ford and quarterback defensive back Duke Carlisle, who helped seal the Longhorn Southwestern Conference Championship, intercepting on a last-minute pass, beating the Baylor Bears that year 7-0. The national title belonged to Texas, 1963.
You notice there's no names on the back of the jerseys, no Texas on the jerseys. They got the numbers on the helmets above the logo. Throwback time. Stripes on those shoulders.
Michael Desormo back in there, his third series of the game at quarterback. Protecting the football. And trying to get outside after a nice play fake. Desormo doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. He stopped shy of the 31 by Brown.
Third straight opener for Mac Brown. They've scored 60 points or more.
Yeah, they were 12th in the nation in scoring last year, averaging over 35 a game. That's the way you do it. They've got 11 on the board this year. So one of the 11, they've already got a minimum of 60.
A lot of points and a lot of yards tonight now. An offensive machine.
The southpaw underneath to Derek Smith. He took a pop after getting a nice little pick downfield from the other wide receiver, Kevin Robbins. The true freshman, Texarkana, in on that stop as well, Christopher Brown. So it'll bring up third down and short for the Ragin Cajuns.
Speaking of left-handed quarterbacks, the best one I ever played against, Kenny Stabler, the Snake. He was unbelievable. Of course, he had a lot of people around him. Throw the football to, hand the football off to. The Oakland Raiders in his day. Whew. Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, the boys. Strong.
Can they get the stop? Desormo, man, off the hands, and it looked like it was going to be a catch for Ray Gibbons. Instead, it's going to be fourth down. You know, we haven't seen that much heat on the quarterback from the Longhorns. There's been some misdirection. As well as Texas played last year defensively, and they ranked number 23 in total defense in the nation. They only had 22 sacks in 12 games.
Right.
And only 6 came from the rush ends.
And that's something that they're trying to rectify, because they have the talent to come off the edge, to push the pocket. They should generate a lot more sacks this year.
Desormo only needs 1.5 yards, and he'll get it on his own. Good job. He's horse-collared down by Killebrew, but maintained his composure and picked it up. Some toughness to their quarterbacks, Babb and Desormo.
Desormo knows he's got to get there. He's got 1.5 yards to go. Closing speed, inside-out pursuit. Horse collars him, but after the first down was generated, pretty good hustle by Killebrew, though. The Texas Longhorns under Mac Brown after tonight will be 39-3 at home, 93% plus winning percentage.
Good play on the fake, and Desormo down the sideline. Will they get to the end zone? First time, yes.
There's a flag though, Joel.
Flag way behind the play. Man, will it come back now? We have no indication from the officials downfield. It looked like he got into the end zone, but the flag, it must be bringing it back.
Yeah.
Holding 86 offense. 10 yards, spot of the foul.
That's a receiver downfield, Derek Smith. That negates a 57-yard touchdown run.
Boy, Desormo showed some speed there, because the Longhorns, they had an angle on him and came up short. Of course, this isn't the #1 defense that has all the speed. But Desormo outran everybody, even though he wasn't the beneficiary of having that good angle.
We are going to be back here in a couple of weeks, Dave. Rice Owls.
Penny Hatfield
making an appearance.
Whoa.
Deflected and almost intercepted off the hands of Cherry, another true freshman. They do not have many seniors suited up on this roster for the Ragin Cajuns. It's a very young team. And we talked about 16 returners in the starters. But the Ragin Cajuns, they've only got 4 senior starters on offense, just 3 seniors on defense, just 9 seniors on their 2 team for Ricky Bussell. So it'll be better down the road. There's no doubt about that, as there's some game experience now for these young men.
Yeah, this was a lesson tonight, a tough lesson. You know, it's tough medicine to swallow, but sometimes it has to be swallowed.
The swing, and it doesn't work. Tried to get it to Fenroy.
Fenroy's got more pads in his neck area and down his back. He reminds me of Christian McCoy. Remember McCoy had that big
Nigerian Nightmare.
There you go.
Kansas City Chief out of Azusa Pacific.
Look at that big old neck roll that he's got going on. Man.
Yeah, you don't want to see Okoye.
Christian Okoye was a powerful, powerful human being. Didn't last a long time, though, with that running style. He took his licks as well.
And about 3 good years in the league. So 3 minutes gone by in the 4th. A 3rd down and 6. Still no pressure on the quarterback, and underneath it's Fenroy for the first down. So even though, as you mentioned, it's 2nd and 3rd teamers in there.
There's a late hit. Yes. Another loss of poise. And they got the big fella, Brandon Cox, who's playing with a broken bone in his left hand. As you look at his left hand, number 72 in the white.
Foul, 72 on the offense. Unnecessary roughness. Play gain to first down, 15-yard penalty.
Brandon Cox playing with that surgically repaired injury. Center uncovered, center has to help. And he does a pretty good job of helping. Pretty good handful of jersey by a left guard for the Ragin Cajuns right there. And Tim Falters had a good long night. Look at the left hand right here of the big boy. He's got there it is right there. He's got broke a bone in the hand, surgically repaired it, got it all padded up. Gonna play some football.
It's the 3rd time in this half they've got a 15-yard mark off on a personal foul. Desormo Smart and wise getting that out of bounds. Not much available on the play to begin with.
Well, he's trying to little shovel pass, whatever you want to call it. And I've never seen a quarterback basically say they covered the shovel pass, so I'm just going to tuck it and run. You know,
did you see the length of the wrap on that finger? It looked like one of those foam things you buy that were #1.
Right. Well, it's a big splint. You got a big splint on there, and they want to totally stabilize it. I mean, he doesn't want to be. It doesn't want to. They don't want to have a situation where he bends it either way.
Second and long. Make it 2nd and 8 after the run. On the crossing pattern, it's a first down. Grab that time Ray Gibbons, a sophomore from Lufkin, Texas. Well, upcoming. And we talked about next week, Ohio State, which is a rarity in this day and age of the BCS. Game of the magnitude this early in the season. Then Rice, right here on Fox Sports Net. We'll be back here on the 17th. Texas at Missouri. Brad Smith and Missouri, big winners today at Arrowhead Stadium. And the Brad Smith of old, I'm told, running free and easy and looking natural at the quarterback position as opposed to a rigid Brad Smith we saw last year.
Well, they implemented the Utah offense a little bit there as well that Alex Smith did so well with.
Smith doesn't hold on and bring it in. It'll be 2nd and 10. Let's go back to that schedule if we can. The remaining games for the Texas Longhorns, as the Longhorns will be on the road for that conference game at Missouri.
Remember when we saw Brad Smith his first Big 12 game against the Oklahoma Sooners? He was quarterbacking at Missouri. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they lost that game on a fake field goal try.
Right.
Oklahoma, the Red River Battle at the Cotton Bowl on the 8th. Colorado, Texas Tech at home, then at Oklahoma State, at Baylor, Kansas at home after a scare from the Jayhawks last year, and close it out with their traditional matchup Thanksgiving weekend on that Friday with Texas A&M. Down the middle, it's available, and they can't get the completion going to Cherry.
One thing that Texas learned last year, though, Joel, is you can't take any of the games for granted because their second toughest victory in the regular season was at Lawrence, Kansas.
We saw it.
We had
were
that
there.
game, 4th and 18, and Vince Young scrambles for 21, goes out of bounds, rolls out. The very next play throws a 21-yard touchdown pass, as good a throw as you're ever going to see to win the game. That was their second toughest win during the regular season. And then, of course, they go on and finish strong and win the Rose Bowl against Michigan. So, you know, the bracket game around Oklahoma, you have Missouri and Colorado. Can't take those for granted.
Heat. Desormo eludes it. He's got a man Cherry, and it's just out of his reach. Defending on the play, Foster may have, I don't know if he tipped it as much as he probably got in the vision, just in the helmet a little bit of Jason Cherry. But Desormo showed some good arm strength.
Yeah, this kid's got some stuff to him. I mean, I think he's going to be pretty good. I think they found themselves a quarterback of the future. You know, a quarterback that will be able to give them significant snaps and help them win. I can see why they wanted to get him on the field in another position while he was developing a quarterback, because he is fast and athletic.
So on 4th and 10, again using the middle of the field. His target got all tangled up, Derek Smith, and a shot at the end of the play on the quarterback, unfortunately.
And he is hurting. He's doubled over in pain right now.
You would be too.
And yeah, and when he got hit in a very tough spot, right in the midsection, and you're totally exposed. And it's at the end of your throwing motion, and you're totally exposed, and you get lit up. Whew, that's like a car wreck right there, whiplash. You'll feel that tomorrow morning for sure.
Longhorn Sports Deal on Demand, available exclusively on Time Warner Cable. A full slate of football programming is now available on Bevo D.
United States Army Reserve. We are regular people who share our time.
Right here on FSN. Boulder. Other spots that we like around.
Yes.
On the Big 12 tour. And it might be a little cooler in Boulder. You never know, though.
I think you're right. I think there's a good chance up in the mountains that it won't be as close as it is tonight down here in Austin, Texas.
We're sticking together here, aren't we?
Oh, man. Coach Mack Brown, for the most part, is going to like what he saw tonight. I mean, one thing he has recruited speed. Up in Columbus next week, you're going to see two of the fastest defensive football teams in college football on the same field competing.
He's got close games possibly coming up against Ohio State and Missouri, his first conference game, and he's got questions in his kicking game, and the ball on the ground covered by Matt Nordgren on the poor exchange. And I initially just put that on the quarterback. It looked like he fumbled that away. So going in, the game plan and your keys.
Well, they certainly did dominate the line of scrimmage. And they played a lot of people. They are establishing that they've got a lot of players that are capable of performing in Division I football. And 9.4 yards per play, almost a first down every touch. Not a whole lot of pre-snap penalties. That part of it wasn't bad either. But the kicking game, you don't want to leave 3 points on the field, even though you've scored 60, because at some point in time, you're going to need all those points. The kicking game is going to win or lose a football game for you, and that's a concern.
Obanaya spun around and dropped outside of the 45 by Johnny Felders. Now, if they've got close ones coming up, they've got to get it straight, whether it's Richmond McGee or David Pino, who we saw come in tonight. Pino at least has some game experience. Richmond McGee, and I'm talking about extra points and field goals, had never tried one. And he looked shaky early.
Right. And, you know, the other thing that I think Texas has to be happy about defensively, they didn't really do a whole lot, but they lined up properly and they played their gap control responsibilities and got all that end of it taken care of.
Clock moving. A little more than 8 minutes left. And the punt coming up.
Delay a game.
Right, that was an automatic as they went over to the sideline. This is going to be, believe it or not, the first punt of the night for the Texas Longhorns. So the guy has been rested.
And McGee does that too.
He's all areas of the game. Now, a third of his career kickoffs have been touchbacks, and that's what he's excelled at for this squad over the last 3 seasons.
Right.
Field position so important, and he has been a big factor.
But you drive kickoffs, and you have to get elevation and field goals. Totally different.
It'll hit inside the 10 now and die at about the 7. So that's where Louisiana Lafayette will have it when we come back. Longhorns leading 60-3. We come right. Head coach Mack Brown of the Texas Longhorns, who was at Tulane and has firsthand experience about living down there in New Orleans.
Well, there's one thing we all know: Mother Nature's undefeated. You can't beat a hurricane. I mean, you just have to try to survive it, and that's what everybody's trying to do down there, and it's tough.
Speaking of tough, Desormo took that shot and he's back in there. No gain, in fact. Killebrew got the running back early. It's a loss of a yard or two. This kid, boy, he got a motor. Redshirt freshman from New Iberia. And he took a pop where he landed awkwardly right to the midsection. A blow to a rib cage. As he released the ball, he was totally exposed. And now he's back in there on the next series. And he landed on his head where it twisted his neck as well.
He's going to be sore tomorrow. Guarantee you that. He'll be in the hot tub tomorrow.
So it's going to be second and close to a dozen from his own goal line. Underneath. The grab by Chancellor Roberson out of Houston's Galena Park High School, a true freshman, brought down by Foreman. And the game plan going into this one for the Ragin Cajuns.
Well, they only did turn it over one time, and they were successful blocking 3 extra points. Field position was a problem. All in all, their biggest problem tonight, they just don't have the athletes that Texas has. Texas is bigger, stronger, faster, quicker. Texas X's are bigger than the Ragin Cajun O's.
And in this humid condition, and they're exposed to it, they don't have as many people on a road game.
Absolutely.
A non-conference road game, they can't travel as many. Texas has a deeper sideline.
And here we have a cramping going on right now. And, you know, you just don't know, you don't realize what you're losing in terms of body fluids out there. And you don't feel like you need to drink anymore, but a lot of times you do.
I told you, you better stay hydrated up here.
I'm telling you, boy. We're working it.
Vince Young played 1 series in the second half, and we didn't know we were going to even see him in the second half. I remember Billy Ray in the studio saying after the first quarter he didn't anticipate seeing Vince Young. But they got to get ready for Ohio State. And it was only 13-3 at the time.
And that's a smart quarterback. Look where he is, right under that cool thing. Chilling out.
They're now on 3rd and long. Carey with the grab, but is short by 2. Clock continues to move. Next snap inside of 6 minutes.
You know, the thing about when you play a team the caliber of the program at Texas, even when they get their 2nd and 3rd units in there, these guys are trying to get snaps. They're trying to earn snaps from the coaches. And they were good high school players as well. A lot of them, you know, had a successful high school career as starters for Louisiana Lafayette. So it's like you're not really getting
there's no serious drop-off.
There's no easy street out there. I mean, you know, it's competitive, and they're playing hard.
Fair catch called for. And the Longhorns will have it back at their own 37-yard line. We'll continue. Final 5:43 from Austin.
Bevo's not flinching tonight. That's for sure.
Even when we brought up Jack Links.
That's right. Little false start, little early action up front.
Bevo's next appearance in the World Series of Poker.
For the snap, false start on the left guard. 5 yards, first down.
5:40 left. Well, let's head down to Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Yeah, what a life Bevo lives, huh? Check him out. Nice, relaxed, kick back. I guess he's tired of watching the Longhorns score, but look where Bevo lives. Sunrise Ranch, along with Bevo 13. Excellent life to live if you're Bevo. Now, let me tell you something, Joel. We finally found someone who can eat with Dave Lapham because he eats 3% of his weight. Bevo weighs 1,500 pounds, so 3% is like 50 pounds of oats every day along with alfalfa.
Wow.
So 50 pounds for Bevo. You can imagine he's a little tired right now, huh?
And I'll tell you what, he's got to be regular. 50 pounds of oats. He's going regularly.
Yeah, they've got Matt McCoy in there. By the way, you know, Noxie's talking about, well, what a lifestyle Bevo's got, laid back. Noxie's got a lot of room to talk down there in the golf slacks, a golf shirt, cool as a cucumber.
Visiting with cheerleaders, you know, just kind of
taking surfing on a regular basis.
Yeah. Check out Noxie. Noxie and Bevo, that's a portrait.
So Matt McCoy in their quarterback. It's up to the 35 after the loss on the snap. And for a Kyocera game break, I can't believe it. Mike Goldberg. Tough one for USC, just like Texas tonight.
Really. Another good booty. Josh Booty, John David Booty.
The run across the 40. And the carry for the Longhorns. Brandon Foster. Yeah, the Heisman voting. Yeah. This was last year. Leinart beating out Adrian Peterson. Well, this year, Leinart. What about Reggie Bush? We don't know the numbers on Bush. As Mike Goldberg mentioned, Leinart with a big night. J.D. Booty taking over. Young man out of LSU territory, out of Louisiana.
How about the top 5 teammates from Oklahoma, teammates from USC? They played the national championship game. I guess it makes sense.
It'll hit at the 25, inside the 20, like everything else rolling Texas's way, almost all the way down to the 10. Well, we mentioned there have been some great players for the Ragin Cajuns during the late 80s. How about Brian Mitchell, school's all-time rushing and scoring leader, set the NCAA record for most career rushing touchdowns by a quarterback with 47. Then in the mid-90s, Jake the Snake Delhomme started 43 consecutive games, ranks atop all the team's passing charts. Many times connecting up with Brandon Stokely, that became the first player in NCAA Division I history to average more than 100 yards receiving per game throughout his 4-year career. Alvin Dark, baseball fame, Glenn LaFleur, Septien, we already talked about, Thomas, Damon Mason, and Charles Tillman, now with the Chicago Bears. So there have been some sensational talents for the Ragin Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette. On the pitch, it's across the 10. Out to the 12-yard line. And on that carry, it was Levier. Abdul Levier.
Future Longhorns right there in the stands enjoying the game, Joel.
Well, we started with 82,000 here tonight. Not many left, but they've been averaging since Mac Brown took over. right at 82,000 a game. From the 12. Desormo collared again, and this time it was Christopher Brown, a true freshman out of Texarkana, Texas.
Chris Brown.
The clock continues to move inside of 3 minutes. Overstock.com bringing you the first down line tonight. Visit Overstock.com today and start saving. It is all about the O at Overstock.com.
Well, the Ragin Cajuns have Keith Talamo, converted tight end, in there at left tackle, and he got beaten badly on that particular pass set.
Ask Desormo what he thinks of that.
Yeah. At least it was his front side being left-handed.
Levier bouncing outside. Can he get to the mark? He'll be short of the first down. Knocked out at the 19. That'll stop the clock with 2:15 to play. And it should be another punt coming up for the Ragin Cajuns. So Texas on the road at Ohio State. They got Vince Young in there for a quarter or a half and a series. As Young, if you joined us late, was 13 of 17, 173 yards with 3 scores. Vince on the ground, very efficient as well, with a 7-yard average exactly. 7 for 49 with another touchdown. So he accounted for 4 scores again, threw for 3. And I like the composure he had in the backfield throwing the football.
Well, he is so smooth. He glides. He never seems flushed or rattled, that's for sure.
Good punt. Fair catch called for.
Turned it over.
Taking it back at the 26-yard line. Now looking back on what Vince Young did in his debut of his junior campaign.
Shows some patience, and then he's going to finish with some power, running through tacklers. He's bigger than a lot of guys on the Louisiana Lafayette defensive football team. David Thomas finding a nice little seam in the zone, and then David Thomas again, slow blocks. They lose track of him in coverage. Vince Young, 2 touchdown passes to his fine tight end, who's going to be a big factor for him all season long. They're going to hook up a few times.
So now the Longhorns will just try to run it out with 2:07 to play. Protect the football, stay in bounds. Yes, you keep whining it. We love that linesman.
Yeah.
That was Scott Ballou on the carry. They're getting there. I mean, they're going past 3rd and 4th teamers now.
Yeah, they're getting some intramural guys in there now, I think. you look at the poor Ragin Cajuns now. They go back with a 63 defeat being hung on them, and that'll go away. But the Katrina after effects hang on. I mean, that's just football is so minor in the big scope of it. This 60-3 is nothing compared to what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
That dash across the 30 out to the 31. And our Kyocera play of the game involving a sophomore from Temple, Texas, and that is Ramon Taylor on the little double reverse action.
And look at how he runs in the open field. Vince Young can move, and RT was closing on him. Ramon Taylor, he has got some wheels as well. I'd like the big fella Melton. He ran through people. You got people, speed that gets people playing a little bit soft, stretch them out a little bit, and then Melton hammers it up in there. They got some nice change of pace going on. Got movement on the tight end, faking the start of a play. Can't do that.
Selvin Young started off well enough tonight, and then he put the ball on the ground.
86 offense, 5 yards, 3rd down.
But everybody coming into the game questioned his durability.
Right.
And he had, if you look at the numbers, strictly the numbers, better than 8 per pop, 8 carries, 67 yards. You like the numbers and a score. But he left the game. He asked out. He took a little nick on the ankle. Surgically repaired ankle.
Right.
Got it retaped and then came back in and wasn't in long. Like it impacted him. It affected him.
The mental part of it. Getting over the mental part of it. Taking the hits.
This should be the final snap. And that'll do it. So they wind it down. A very successful beginning to the number 2 team in the preseason polls in the nation. And not exactly a shock that Vince Young got it going in the 2nd quarter and really took off.
And you know why a lot of the skilled people played so well? The offensive line. Why the defense played so well? The defensive line starts right there.
So a successful beginning for the Texas Longhorns, who finished last year at 11-1, winning a Rose Bowl, and their MVP of the Rose Bowl game. Vince Young, who had 5 touchdowns in that game. He ran for 4, threw for 1. He had 4 in the season opener. 3 through the air, 13 of 17 passing. He accounted for 173 through the air, and he also had 49 on the ground on 7 carries. So total offense, the guy is going to be phenomenal once again. Don't forget, we've got a college football triple header for you next Saturday. Kia Sarah College Football Saturday. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern. Tulsa facing Oklahoma. Then at 6:30, Boise State, Oregon State, and Colorado and New Mexico State will wrap it up. That'll be at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific. Check your local listings. Dave Lapp, Jim Knox, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for hanging in there with us. Our final score again, Texas over the Ragin Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, 60-3. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night, and so long.